Hey guys, welcome to the chat. I'm Sri Lankan Sammi, retired with mom and dad. Welcome to my midweek podcast. Welcome to predominantly my European and Oceanic friends and Sri Lankan friends. Thank you for joining. I'm Sri Lankan Sammi, retired with mom and dad, coming to you live from just checking the live stream. Coming to you live from the abode, the Temple of Heaven in Jayala, Sri Lanka. It is Wednesday. Let's turn down the volume a little bit. All right. It is a hot day today. Oh my goodness, it's so hot. It is, what time is it? 11 o'clock in the morning here in Sri Lanka. I've already done a lot. I've had 4 hours of work, and I went for a 1-hour walk. Today is my walking day. Tomorrow is my exercise day. Yes, tomorrow is my exercise day. So that's another thing. I put it in my calendar when I have to work out, so that I actually do it. Otherwise, I won't do it. If I don't put it in my calendar, I won't do it. So I put it in my calendar to work out, and I'm gonna do it. Do you believe me? So today we are going to do what I like to call my midweek catch up. I'm just going to talk to you about what's been going on, what will be going on, what's happening, and what I'm planning on doing for the next week. This is just for you guys to touch base and catch up and say hi. Hello, Darren. Good to see you, brother. Hope you are doing well. And as normal, living life, brother. How's it going down in Australia? I'm pretty sure it's still winter, and the weather is chilly. Chilly. So I did a Sunday. I went to Port City. And I went to this place called the Bellevue Beach Club. Now, there's 3 places that you can go in Port City to enjoy the beach. There's 4. There's the public beach, which is open to anyone and everyone, and there's nothing there. It's just sand. Then there is the food court. That's the first place you'll reach, is the food court. 8 degrees Celsius. No, thank you. I'll stick with my 31, 32 degrees Celsius with 78% humidity. I'll stick with that. I appreciate that, Darren. I'm so not into cold anymore. I don't know how you handle it going from the winters in the summers in winter in Australia. It's opposite to the North Hemisphere. So I don't know how you do that. And you must have crossed the equator. You've done something I've never done. You've crossed the equator. I have never crossed the equator. I've been close. I mean, obviously, Sri Lanka, we're about 600 kilometers from the equator. I've been to Singapore, which is about 150 kilometers from the equator. But I've never been south of the equator. And that's why I'm always hoping to go to Bali or Indonesia so that I can, at least once in my life, cross the equator. I'm not coming to Australia. Sorry. maybe Northern Australia, but Southern Australia, oh my gosh, it's cold and it's a city, and I'm just not interested in going to a westernized country anymore. There's just no interest in it for me whatsoever. I've done that. So I went to Port City, and the way it works is the way you come through the Port City, there's only one road. The first beach after the bridge is like this just open sand. Anybody can park their car and just go there. Then the next place is the food court. free to get in, and then you can, I think there's chairs. No, there's no chairs. It's just beach. So the food court is cheap food. Okay. Then you go a bit ways, and then there's Bellevue Beach Club, and then finally, further on down the road is another beach club, which is the one that I actually got a job at, or a job offer at, when I first came to Sri Lanka 3 years ago. Now this is a mid-range place. They've basically got like frozen foods, fast foods, fried foods, and drinks, and they have seating, but it's not all that comfortable. And it's small. The venue is small. Then you have Bellevue Beach Club, which is huge. They have a swimming pool. They have cabanas. They have an air-conditioned VIP room. They have a rooftop patio. They have covered seating. They have comfortable seating. They have loungers right on the beach, right up to the ocean. So, but the pricing is much higher. So it is expensive. I'm going to say it's like 4-star, but it's worth it. They got music. They got it's an amazing venue. If you've got a family, don't go. It's too expensive. But if you're, a couple, or you can afford it, definitely go there. So I had tuna sashimi, I had a draft beer, I had a Sprite, and a cheeseburger, and including the service charge and taxes, which is 15%, 12%, and 18% and 2%. So about 35% in tax. I paid 12,000 rupees, which is about $40. That's not bad for 2 meals. That's $20 a meal. It is on the high side, right? But you're paying for the venue and the ambiance. You got comfortable seating, a swimming pool. I mean, what kind of a beach club has a swimming pool? If you don't want to go in the ocean, you can just sit in the swimming. The swimming pool is covered, so you don't get sunburned. It's beautiful. It's just lovely. I did a video. I'm going to go back in the next couple of weeks to do a comprehensive video. So I hope you guys join me for that. So right now, what kind of videos do we have coming up? All right, so coming up this week, what do we got? The 80s were the best. Dealing with loneliness and depression. Leaving the West saved my life. And why divorce was the best thing for me. Those are some interesting videos, and then that's in the next couple of weeks, this week and next week. You stay lookout for that. We're at the end of July. My goodness, 60 days till Cebu. And I am working on the Cebu trip. Let me tell you about that. I need to do a bit of geography. I don't know much about Australia because I've never been. And honestly, I don't have any real desire to go, so I haven't really researched it. It gets hotter in southern Australia than Sri Lanka. And once you are out of Melbourne, it's all rural. Northern Australia sucks. I kind of understand that the geography of Australia is flipped to the geography of North America, so that the southern part is much more comfortable than the northern part, because the northern part is closer to the equator. So the southern part, the temperatures would be comparable to, like, say, Washington, D.C. or New York City, okay, or London. And that 90% of the population lives on the southeast coast. Nobody lives inland because it's all desert. And then they live on the southwest coast. I think it's Darwin. I got to look that up. But I do know that. I have seen that you can drive for days across the country, and it's dangerous to drive across the country. if you don't carry water with you, you will die. I've heard that. I've seen videos about it, that it's not hospitable at all. You know, you could disappear in that country and nobody would ever find you. You know, if you could survive. If you ever wanted to drop off the planet, that would be definitely be a place to go. But there's the other stories that everything on Australia is trying to kill you. Every animal in the country is trying to kill you and eat you. So no thanks. No thanks. Anyway, I'm very ignorant of the geography because, like I said, I've never been and I don't really have a desire to. So I tend to not go out of my way to learn anything about it. I should. I mean, you know, it's a beautiful place. I have lots of friends from there. I have lots of family members from there, so I should learn maybe a little bit more. You're right. So the Cebu trip. So I was doing some research just earlier today on the visas. So like Philippines is so visa friendly, but it's expensive. Like over $100 US every renewal. Now, since I have the time and I have a scooter and everything like that, I'm going to do the visa renewal myself. I used to just hand it over to an agent and pay them to do it. But it's like the fee to pay the agent on top of the fee for the visa. Is $50. So if I have to do 2 renewals, it's $100. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I won't. I'm not sure. So according to my research, there is this long stay visitor visa extension. And for the same price as renewing it every 2 months, because I'm staying 5 months, it's cheaper than doing it every 2 months. Even though it's a 6-month visa, I'm only staying 5 months, it's still cheaper. But further research has shown me that it's only able to apply for it at the head office in Manila. I'm not flying to Manila just to apply for a visa. It's going to cost me more to fly there and stay 1 day, because I don't know how long it's going to take, and fly back. I mean, flying there is like $20. Staying in a hotel is like $50 in food and the time that I need to do it. I have to take a day off work, or 2 days off, and get that taken care of. And I don't like being in Manila. I've never been in Manila. I'm not interested. That's the thing with me. I'm not interested. If I'm not interested, I'm not going to do it. Oh, you should try it. Nope. No, I'm an old grumpy old man. I'm not interested. So, according to the information that I am researching, I get a entry visa of 30 days. And then my first renewal is about $50, and it's 29 days. And then I can get a 2-month extension for about $120, and that includes the ID card. You have to get an ID card after 59 days. And then my final extension for 1 month at about $60, $70. So my total cost about 15,000 pesos. So for 5 months, it's $250 US for visas. It's very expensive. It's very expensive to stay in the Philippines. So if I were to stay in the Philippines without a long-term visa, like a resident visa, if I was going to stay for like a year, then I would fly into Manila, get the 6-month visa, and then fly on to my next destination, Cebu or wherever I wanted to be. So maybe I'll do that this time. I still haven't bought my tickets. That's an idea. Hey, I still haven't bought my airline ticket. I've booked my hotel, my condo, and I can just show up whenever. That's an idea. I should look into that. Fly into Manila. Now I have to see if Singapore Airlines flies into Manila, because I want to fly Singapore Airlines. Let's go 2 days early. Let's go September 29. Let's see. Yeah, it's still doable. I still have the layover in Singapore, but instead of flying to Cebu, I fly to Manila. And then I get a place to stay in Manila that's close to the immigration office. I land at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's too early, too late. That's the only flight. Like, I can't, that's the earliest flight, which means I'm going to have to do the second day. Go early in the morning, because by the time, okay, so I land at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock by the time I get out of the airport, 3:30 by the time I get to my room. Yeah, it's that those offices always close early. There's no chance of going at that hour. So I'd have to do the second day, and then however long it takes them to process that. Is that going to be worth it for me? That's what I'm going to have to research. It doesn't look like that's what I'll do. It's not worth it. It's too much of a hassle to lug all my luggage around. And then here's the other thing. Flying from Manila to Cebu, I'm going to have to take the local carrier, and I've got 40 kilos of luggage, because that's included in my Singapore Airlines flight, is 40 kilos. I'm not going to take 40 kilos, but yeah, it's not going to be worth it for me, so forget it. Forget it. Yeah, so it's cheaper to do it the other way. Anyway. Plus, that's 2 days off of work that I have to reschedule. Just a pain in the butt. So I've got an interesting video that I'm going to make in the next couple of days, is strange laws in Sri Lanka. Not for expats, but just in general. So, I mean, we all know that liquor is not available on Poya days or on holidays. You cannot buy liquor at the stores. Some hotels and places offer it to tourists, but some don't, most don't. I didn't know that it, well, first of all, the drinking age is 21, and so is the driving age, I think. I got to double check that. I have a list of laws. Here's one that I didn't know. Women are not allowed to work after dark. Sorry. Women are not allowed to work as servers in restaurants or hotels after dark. I didn't realize that. They're trying to change that law. But I found that interesting. That's so curious for me. But anyway, that's I'm going to be doing a video on that, on strange laws. Like, for example, in Korea, there is no freedom of speech. There is no freedom of speech, and there is no discrimination law in public. So private businesses are allowed to legally discriminate for any reason. For example, when I was at the club, or you go to any club, and they say, if you're too old, you can't get in. That's illegal, but not in Korea. In Korea, it is illegal to gamble or to consume narcotics, like in most conservative countries. In Korea, if you are a Korean citizen and you go outside the country to a country where it's legal to consume narcotics and to gamble, and you get found out by the Korean government, you can be charged when you return, like posting on social media or something like that. You can't even play online games in Korea. They're blocked by the ISP. That's why one of my final videos that I made, I didn't publish until after I left Korea, because it was kind of slanderous. So because I left Korea, I could do it. If I was in Korea and I did it, I could have been hit with a slander lawsuit. So that was an interesting law. What other strange laws did I? In Philippines, there is no divorce. It is illegal for divorce, and so is abortion at any stage, including for any outlying circumstances. Mother dies, mother was, non-consensual. No, it's a highly Catholic society. There is no divorce. The only way is annulment, and it's so hard to get an annulment. Not easy. I had one friend. So the first time I went to the Philippines I went to Subic Bay about 2 years ago. And my good friend Tim was there, and he introduced me to a bunch of people. And there's this one guy, really sweetheart guy, older than me, in his 60s or 70s. They're all Americans. They're all retired military who came back to Subic Bay because that's where they were stationed when they were younger. So they came back. And they've got a good pension. These guys are pulling in $5,000 US a month. And this guy, I don't know if he met her online or if he met her when he got there, but he married her. And she's got one kid, not from him. And he's giving her money. And they became estranged. And he's still giving her money. And he used to come to me at like the 20th day of the month. He says, like, Sam, can I borrow $50? I'll pay you back in 2 weeks. I give him the money. I don't want you to pay me back. Just, he has no money for food because he's given it all to her. And he wanted to get away. He actually moved from one house to another house so she couldn't know where he was. But she still ended up finding him because somebody told her or he told her or whatever. No willpower. I don't understand. Like, you see these stories about guys in the Philippines, guys in Thailand, simps. My God. Please. Now, I will meet someone. I will date. I'm pretty sure I'll end up with a girlfriend. I don't mind. It's easier to have one girlfriend than it is to date around. So I'll probably have a girlfriend. but there's no way I'm getting involved with someone who's married, who's got kids. I'll never get married. And the other thing is, a new law in the Philippines I heard was that there is a law on the books, not a new law, but there is a law on the books called assault on the woman and children. And it's verbal, mental and verbal. So if you berate a woman and her child, cause them mental anguish, they can file a police report against you and you will go to jail. There's no bail. There's no bail in the Philippines. Look at that Vitali guy. He's in jail for he's not gone to trial yet. He was a nuisance vlogger. And same with Johnny Somali in Korea. In South Korea, he's in jail awaiting trial. Oh no, he's out on bail. In Korea, he got bail. Bail is a new thing in Korea. It didn't exist before. And you can pay your way out of jail. If you pay restitution to the victim, you can avoid jail time. If you can't, you have to serve time in jail until you pay off your debt. But in Philippines, you have to be very careful. So I'm even thinking about setting up a recording device so that anytime someone's in my house, I'm recording everything so that there's evidence that if anyone says anything, I have the evidence. Oh, scary crap, man. Let me tell you. Scary, scary crap. I mean, it's good that we live in a digital world because now you can record everything anytime, anywhere, 24 hours a day. I mean, I had a situation happen to me. It's not scary, but funny. I think it was the first or second year I was in Korea. I had dated a girl for about 6 months. And I think it was 2 or 3 months after she messages me and says she needs to meet me. And I'm like, all right. And so we meet up at a coffee shop or something like that. And she's like, good to see you, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, what's up? I had asked her before, I'm not interested in dating you anymore. And you're like, no, it's not that. I just need to talk to you about something. It's very urgent. So I'm like, is she gonna ask me for money or something like that or whatever? I didn't think anything of it. I was like, okay, whatever. I wasn't thinking back then. I was still a little ignorant. I didn't think people did this. And I have to remember, this is 15, 16 years ago. I was not 100% aware of the simping thing in online because online simping didn't exist in those days. What the heck was that? Oh, a leaf fell down from the coconut tree. Not this coconut tree, the one outside my bedroom window. So this one woman comes up to me and who I had dated, and she's like, oh, I just needed to tell you that I'm pregnant. And I'm like, oh, congratulations. I kind of immediately hit me in the head as to where this is going. I'm like, she's like, yeah, it's yours. And I'm like, uh-huh. Okay, and how can you be sure? She goes, well, you're the only one I've ever been with. And I'm like, okay. And it's, 4 months, and that was when we were together. And I'm like, okay, all right. So can you, provide me what do you want? She goes, well, I want to, she wanted to terminate, so she wanted some money for it. And I'm like, uh-huh. Okay, so can you give me the doctor's report and all that stuff? And write me an email just saying that this is what you want to do, just so that when I give you the money that, you're going to take care of it, right? You're going to do what you say you're going to do. She goes, yeah, okay, So she sends me an email. I didn't say anything to her. I said, yeah, I'll pay for it. You tell me what you want in detail. It's a contract, right? She goes, yeah, okay, no problem. And I'll send you the money right away. I'll bank transfer it as soon as I get the email from you and the OBGYN report showing you're pregnant. We'll do that. So she sends me all of that a day or two later. So I go to the police station and I file a report with her because I have my documentation with me that I had a vasectomy. And I'm incapable of impregnating anybody. I had a vasectomy 1983, 1984. In the late 80s, I had a vasectomy. And through all my marriage, never used protection, never got pregnant. So it's not possible, right? I got tested to show that it's not possible. And people say, oh, it can grow back. No. That's the stupidest myth ever. That's not the way they do it now. They burn the two ends off. It's not physically possible for it to grow back. There's about 2 inches that don't exist anymore. They don't grow back. Okay, this is not Terminator where it regenerates. It's the funniest story. So I go to the police station, I file a report. They say, what do you want to do? I say, I just want this documented so that if she comes back to me, I have it on paper. And here's the evidence so that I don't go to jail. And they go, okay, do you want to file criminal charges against her? I go, no, maybe she's mistaken. Maybe she doesn't know, or maybe she's whatever. She hasn't blackmailed me. She just asked me to help her, believing that I am the father. Now I'm going to go back to her and tell her I'm not the father and that it's physically impossible. So if she makes any further allegations, you have the evidence so that I don't get arrested, right? He goes, that's a smart way to do it. And I go, okay, thank you. So I go back to her and I say, it's not possible. She goes, yeah, I don't believe you. I go, well, you can go to the police and here's the name of the detective and you can ask him. He has all the documents because I've already filed a report with the police with your email and my medical documents, okay, and your OBGYN and our dating record. So if you want to take it to court, let's go right ahead. Never heard from her again. So, having that documentation, having that evidence, I learned my lesson. Turn on the recording and have a recording, protect yourself. Are you here of your own free will? I remember back in Canada when I was dating, I had whatever, it happens. You're with a girl and she's like, let's get out of here. And I'm like, well, what about your friends? They're okay. And I'm, no, let's go tell your friends what's happening. So I go up to her friends. I go, she's coming with me. And I said, you're coming home with me, right? She says, yes. And you're interested in coming home with me? Yes. So her friends all see that it was consensual. Right? I mean, obviously we got into a little bit more detail as to, just to protect myself. But yeah, you have to be careful these days. You have to be careful, so careful. Because in those kinds of cases, it's up to you to prove. And it takes time to prove it. And in that time, you're arrested and you go to jail and you have to bail out. And that's a big pain in the ass. And you have to hire a lawyer and pay a lawyer, even if it's a false accusation. You have to spend the money on a lawyer, not a cheap one either. You have to find the good one. So having that evidence up front where you can go, oh, she's saying what? Well, officer, I have a audio tape saying the complete opposite. Now, if you want to arrest me now and then go through the court process and then have me present that evidence after the fact, or you can listen to this now and then make a decision and avoid all that court stuff, right? Do an investigation. The way it works in Korea is much different, though. The police don't arrest. The police collect evidence, and if the crime is not serious, they let you go, and then they investigate, present the evidence to the prosecutor, and then the prosecutor will decide whether an arrest warrant is issued. Whereupon you just show up at the police station. They call you and say, come in, you're under arrest. It's a much more civilized system. Don't know what it's like in Sri Lanka, but I don't want to find out. And I don't want to find out in the Philippines. I've seen what Filipino jails are like. I've heard and seen videos of what Filipino jails are like. Don't want that. It's crazy, man, crazy. You don't want Korean jails either. North American jails are depending. Minimum security jails in North America are much better than any kind of jail in Sri Lanka or Philippines or Korea. Oh my God, my friend was in the jail in Korea, and he said, I'd rather go max security in America than minimum security in Korea. I don't want to experience anything. Even one day, I don't want that. I want to prevent it. So be careful out there, boys and girls. What else is going on? Well, like I said, I'm planning for Philippines. We are how many days away? $63 days. 63 days. So, yeah, I'm going to reduce the trip by 1 week so that I fit into that 154 days of my visas. Like last time, that's what happened. I got a visa and there was still 3 weeks left on the visa. I'm like, what a waste of money. So now I have a visa and there's 1 extra day on the back end. And what happens is if you go over by 1 day, they just charge you a small fine. Like that's what happened to me in Thailand. And I was like, I was pissed off about that. He didn't charge me. He just said, don't do it again. He says, make sure there's extra days on your visa. Now I'm going to have like 2 or 3 extra days on my visa. And I said, like, but you know, February had 28 days. It didn't have 30 days. It had 28. So today is my 30th day or 60th day or whatever it is, because it says 60 days. 60 days is today. And he says, no, you're 1 day over. And I'm like, how is that possible? He says, because, you know, February, March. That's 60 days. And I'm like, March has 31 and February has 28. That's 60 days. And he said, well, you're 61 days because we count it as 30 and 30. I said, well, you don't say that. Okay. And I'm like, you should probably, you know, to avoid any future problem. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just like, I counted the days and I booked my flight so that I would ensure that I was within the laws of Thailand. He says, you know, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. I said, thank you. I don't want to get in trouble next time because that's the only thing I don't want. So that's why I'm asking you the questions now so that I don't get into trouble because, you know, I'm booking the trip based on my understanding of the Thai law. So I just need to be explained properly. It says, don't worry about it. It's not going on your record. I said, okay, good. All right, no problem. It happened to me once in South Korea too, at the beginning. One of my first visas was a tourist visa, 6 months. So they write in the passport 6 months. And then when I was leaving the country, they said, oh, you're over by 3 or 4 days. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's 6 months. He says, no, it's 180 days. And I'm like, well, then why doesn't it say 180 days? It says 6 months or 180 days, whatever, 30, 60, 90. Yeah, 180 days. I said, it doesn't say 180 days. It says 6 months. And to me, 6 months is June 3rd, July, August, September, October, November 3rd. That's 6 months. And I'm like, if it's 6 months, explain to me what 6 months means. Well, it's 180 days, but that's not what it says in my passport. It says 6 months. And to the average person, 6 months is January, February, March, April, May, June, July, June, right? That's 6 months. So she made a phone call and then said, it's okay. Just please make sure next time to count. I said, okay, please make sure to write down the right number in the passport, in the visa stamp. Don't put 6 months, put 180 days. So I count 180 days. I would have left. I want to follow the law. And today is the 6-month anniversary of the day I arrived in Korea. Or tomorrow is, or whatever it is. I always try to give one day. But I was so pissed off at that. I was like, don't try and blame me for being ignorant. Yes, ignorance is not an excuse of the law, but the law is based on intent, right? And my intent was to stay 6 months. And again, the law is, what does a reasonable person assume? And a reasonable person would assume that 6 months means 6 months. Doesn't mean 180 days. It means 6 months. When it's written 6 months. If you wanted 6 months to be 180 days, then write 180 days. Why are you writing 6 months? So, yes, I could have found out. Yes, I could have called somebody, but that is my responsibility. Yes. But how much time and energy do you need to spend on, figuring things out, right? You rely on just like common sense, but most people don't have it, including me. I'm not going to argue about that, but anyway, stock market is doing insanely well. Darren, my God, it's topping out now. Do not get into the stock market right now. Do not get into gold right now. Your best bet at this point is a 5-year locked in yearly return term deposit. If you're in Sri Lanka, lock in for 5 years because interest rates will go down in the next year or two. And if you have a 5-year and you're locking it in and it goes up, it's not a big deal because any future money you put in, you put in at a higher rate. And if you put in 5-year yearly payout, you're getting money every year. So you just reinvest that. But don't get into the stock market. Don't get into gold. Put your money into term deposits right now. That's my personal opinion based on what I'm seeing because the stock market is topping out. I am up just under 1% today. And the whole market as a whole is up 0.5 percentage point. 19,600. I love you, brother. I love you so much. You are the greatest. Okay, I love it. You are number one in my eyes, brother. I've said this a billion times to everyone out there. We don't always agree, but you always have good advice and you always have something. Although it may not agree with me, you're always like making sure that we're talking as a community. And that's what I really want here. I want us to get online and share our ideas. Okay, I'm not right, Darren's not right, nobody's right, but we're sharing so that we all get information and we can maybe that's something to think about. And that's why Darren is saying what he's saying right now is because I've looked at the information that he has provided me. Okay, and it is true, the stock market is oversold and it is at the very top. There will be a crash. It may not happen today. May not happen tomorrow, may not happen for a year. But I've gotten a 60% return, 67% return as of today over the last 11 months. You will not get that if you invest today. That's what I think we can both agree on. You might get 5%, 10%, but you will have to watch the market every single day and ensure that you put a stop loss. And in the Sri Lankan stock market, it's not liquid. If you try to sell, nobody's buying, right? Nobody's buying. And definitely overbought. Yes, absolutely. Definitely overbought. There's still a little bit of room to go. The market consensus is that there's still, a 2% to 20% margin still is what I'm reading from the market analysis of what everybody is saying. Okay. And gold is just it's too volatile right now. It may go up based on what's going to happen with the US tariff, but that's so volatile that nobody knows what's going to happen. Maybe they will make an agreement, maybe they won't. What happens in the midterm elections next year, nobody knows. So it's very volatile. Trying to get that 30% gain that happened over the last year or 2 years is not going to happen right now. So your safe bet is locking in guaranteed term deposits, long-term term deposits, especially if you're in Sri Lanka. I'm talking about Sri Lanka, okay, to my Sri Lankan brothers and sisters. Your own country, I mean, I don't know. You guys got to look at your own economy. But, yeah, life is trudging along. I need to exercise more, let me tell you. So tired. But I just downloaded a brand new Call of Duty game that is gonna like eat up my time. I'm just like, I'm so into this new game. Call of Duty Medal of, what is it called? Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I mean, it's an older game, but I just found it and I've never played it before. There's so many Call of Duties, but this one is really, really good. Guys, let me just grab some water. Alrighty. Anyway, things are going well. So I'll be back end of February, like 5 days earlier than I planned before. It's not a big deal because, like I said, I booked my apartment, but I only paid for 1 month. I only booked for 1 month. The rest of the time, I'm going to pay her cash. That's what she didn't say it, but I can figure it out because you can't say it on the Airbnb app because they kind of monitor that. And I didn't push it when she only booked me for 1 month because like we negotiated a price reduction and she says, yeah, let's use Airbnb because it's all secure and everything like that. Great. I said, I want for 6 months. And she says, yeah, no problem. Let's book it. But she only booked it for 1 month. And I'm like, I see what's happening here. When I get there, I'll pay monthly, like you would normally, like you pay month by month. I'll give her a deposit. So I'll pay. So the first month is already paid for. I already paid for that. First month's already paid for. Then what I'll do is when I arrive, I'll give her a deposit, a security deposit. And then at the end of the month, I'll pay her for November. And at the end of November, I'll pay her for December. And then the final month, use my deposit. They're pretty cool like that. After a while, they get to know you and trust you, then they're cool. I said, just look at my reviews. I'm a 5-star renter, and I always keep the place clean. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't party. I'm just coming there for a working vacation. And I'm by myself. There's no pets, there's no kids, there won't be any damage. So, and then I'm hiring her caretaker to cook for me. So obviously she'll come into the house every other day to see, oh yeah, he's keeping it very clean. He doesn't use the air con because the electricity is included in my rent. He doesn't use the air con, he keeps it clean. And obviously they're cleaning it once a week. So you know, yeah, I'll end up being treated fairly. That's the one thing is Filipino people are very trusting, very honest, very, you know, everybody wants to make money and everybody wants to save. So it's, you know, I said, listen, you know, this is what you were, this is where I want to be. Let's, you know, and she goes, yeah, I can make money on that. I said, great. You know, you'll make more money because I will not use electricity because I don't like aircon. As long as you got nice windows and air flowing through, that's it. Guys, I want to say thank you so much for joining, because I know you guys watch this video after the fact. I only got a few viewers right now, but I know a lot of you guys watch this after the fact. So if you've been watching it so far, please sponsor me by scanning the QR code right here and buy me a coconut. I greatly appreciate it. That goes towards, you know, helping the channel. Also, you know, I'll go out and use that money to buy a coconut from a street vendor, and that'll help local farmers, local people here in Sri Lanka. Thank you very much. So what else is going on? Let's see. Work. Oh, I just saw a trailer for a Keanu Reeves movie that's coming out next year. Oh, Starfleet Academy coming soon, summer of 2026. I have been saying Starfleet Academy needs to be a series for the last 10 years, and they're finally doing it. And there was like there's been a trailer, and there's a couple of like freaky things in the trailer. Number one, a Jem'Hadar Starfleet recruit, female Jem'Hadar with a Klingon emblem. If you guys know, Jem'Hadar were the enemy in from the Dominion in the Star Trek Deep Space Nine series. They were a huge threat from the Gamma Quadrant or Delta Quadrant. Anyway, they were huge enemies. The hologram doctor from Star Trek Voyager is back. There is a memory wall with the names of all former famous people who graduated, and there's like Admiral Harry Kim, all these different people from the different series. You can see like when you freeze frame it, people were reading it off. There is a mystery. There's a scene showcasing the mystery of the disappearance of Commander Benjamin Sisko from Deep Space Nine. He disappeared at the end of the series. What happened to him? And then in the final 5 seconds, you watch, you see it, coming soon to TV, boom. And then it cuts to black, and then you see these people walking, and there's a guy walking, he's an alien, and he's whistling the Star Trek theme. It's Paul Giamatti, and he's playing an evil villain character. We don't know anything about it, but you can tell that he's a bad guy. So he's walking down a corridor with people behind him, and he's whistling the Star Trek theme. And it's Paul Giamatti, and he's got that character down, that evil character persona. So I'm so excited for that. I've been waiting for Starfleet Academy for the longest time. Like I said, it should be like Beverly Hills 90210, but set at Starfleet Academy, because it's young kids, right? So, but yeah, I said that decades ago. So now they're doing something along those lines. I can't wait. I'm a huge Star Trek nerd, huge Star Trek fan. And then the Keanu Reeves movie called Good Fortune. It's set to be released October of this year. And it is a comedy, a dark comedy. He is an angel that is kind of not a full angel. And it's Aziz Ansari and who's the other guy? Seth Rogen, Aziz Ansari, and Keanu Reeves. And he goes and he switches the places, like Freaky Friday, between Aziz and Seth. Aziz is this poor guy who's a DoorDash delivery guy, and Seth is a tech bro, and he has them switch places. And then the head angel comes and says, "What did you do, Keanu?" Well, Gabriel. "Well, I thought that money would solve all his problems." "And what happened?" "Well, it seems like money solved all of his problems." I love that line. That's hilarious. So he switches them places, and they realize they've switched places. And he says, "Oh, just give it a try." And it looks hilarious, and I want to see it. I like these dark comedies. But that looks great. You guys should definitely keep this on your radar. The Keanu Reeves movie called Good Fortune, coming September, October of this year. Looks like a great movie. Looks hilarious. The trailer is funny. And Seth Rogen and Aziz Ansari are amazing actors. And the way Keanu plays his character deadpan, oh, it's just hilarious. I love it. So I'm going to wrap it up for today. We're coming up on 1 hour because I have to eat lunch and get ready for my next class. Oh, I am also going to do a series on paying income tax as an expat in Sri Lanka because I had to pay my taxes today. Let me write that down because that's important. What kind of taxes do we have here? Like service charges, VAT, fees, everything that you have to pay as a tourist and what you have to pay as an expat. I've had to pay income tax, even though I do earn money here, but it's under the threshold. I'll get all that money back when I file my taxes. I'm going to do a cost of living update as well, and I'm going to do buying a home and renting a home here in Sri Lanka. So more tuned for expats. Guys, I'm Sri Lankan Sammi, retired with mom and dad. I want to say thank you so much for joining me this time as well. Darren, always happy to see you, brother. I hope you're staying healthy and well. Give a big hello to Janet for me. Guys, please remember, don't learn to live life. Don't let life live you. Be good to each other. That's the most important. Please be good to one person today. All right? Be good to one person today. And remember, we're not strangers. We are just friends who haven't met yet. We'll see you all on the other side.